Good old Dirty Harry. Of course, what you're looking at here are 3 Model 29s. Each of these is a Model 29-2. If you know Smith & Wesson revolvers, you know that whenever they make changes to their model lines, they usually acknowledge those by adding a dash after the model number. So before the 29-2, there was a 29-1, and after the 29-2, there's 29-3 and 4 and 5 and 6, and you keep going until they've perfected the revolver. Not to say that the previous models aren't perfected. They may change, pinning the barrel on the early models. They may remove the pin and go to a different barrel attachment configuration. So it's not that earlier models aren't really useful or that they have an issue. It's just that they make different innovations as time goes by, and they'll change a little bit of the style. For example, the 29-2 includes the pin barrel, which you find on early Smith & Wessons, and it also has a recessed cylinder. Modern day cylinders are not recessed. And I think hopefully everybody knows what the recessed cylinder means. All these have been cleared before, but you can see here on the nickel plated, you see in the cylinder here, it's actually recessed in. So when you lay a 44 Magnum cartridge or a 44 Special, the cartridge is flush with the end of the chamber. So whenever you close it, you wouldn't see any cartridge backs through here. On modern Smith & Wessons, if you load a cartridge, you will see the end of the cartridge protruding a bit. So the 29-2 basically pinned the barrel and recessed the cylinder. What you have here, the bottom one is a nickel 4-inch barrel. The one in the middle is a 6.5-inch barrel, and I believe Smith & Wesson got rid of the 6.5-inch and reduced it to a 6-inch in 1969. So you can kind of get an idea of how old these revolvers are. The top one is an 8 3/8 inch barrel, and I'll show you these up close. This is a 29-2, and this is the 4-inch barrel. It's in nickel with case colored hammer and trigger. You see here the markings, Smith & Wesson trademark. Down here you have Smith & Wesson. I believe on this side you have 44 Magnum. And the pinned barrel, this pin right here, actually the barrel is in and pinned in as well. So I'll open it up here for you. This has not been shot very much. You can see model 29-2. This has really nice grips as well. Smith & Wesson grips. I also like these older models. I think in many of my videos I talk about having the firing pin on the hammer versus the firing pin right here in the frame. I like the firing pin on the hammer. It just looks nicer to me. So that's the 4-inch 29-2, and then this here is the 6.5-inch 29-2, and it's all blued. Again, the recessed cylinder. This one hasn't been fired all too much either. And again, Smith & Wesson case colors their hammers and their triggers on these with actually kind of nice case coloring. And the double action pull on these is very light. I don't want to actually drop it, but that's the double action pull. It's very smooth, and the single action pull is super crisp. And the triggers on these are actually widened a bit and serrated, so you get a nice good trigger pull and trigger feel. So So there's the 6.5-inch barrel. Markings are the same. Smith & Wesson trademark on the side and 44 Magnum on the barrel. Then on the inside you have the Model 29-2. I don't know if you'll be able to see it there in the light. It's down at the bottom. That's the 6.5-inch. And then my favorite is the 8 3/8 inch. And this one has really nice grips on it. These grips are, I'm not sure what kind of wood these are, but these are all original. And again, you have the 29-2. Actually, this one's actually 29-3, I believe. Yeah, because see here, if you look at the cylinders, they're not recessed. The barrel is not pinned. You see here, there's no pin there, and the cylinder is not recessed. So I'll just go back to the 69-2, or 29-2, 69, 29-2. You'll see here the pin right here at the top, and you'll see a lip on the inside of the cylinder. So when you put the cartridge in, it's all flush. And on this one, which is 29-3, I think I said these were all 29-2, so I mistake that. This one's 29-3. There is no recessed cylinder in here. So when you put a cartridge in, you will see how there's much more of a gap here. So you'll see the actual cartridge in the side. Whereas this one, not as much gap compared to that. And obviously you don't have to have much of a gap if you have a recessed cylinder, because the cartridge fits flush. So again, this one isn't pin barrel, not a recessed cylinder, but everything else is the same. Case colored hammer, case colored trigger, and again it's a wide trigger and it has serrations on it. You can see there. Smith & Wesson trademarks, 44 Magnum. And I just like this 8 3/8 inch barrel. It just feels gigantic whenever you hold on to it. And again, the trigger pull is the same. It's smooth and easy, and single action is super crisp. There's no take up in that trigger. It just breaks with almost no effort. So there's the Model 29. This one's 29-3. The other two are 29-2. This is 8 3/8 inch barrel. The one down below is 6.5. And the nickel plated one is the 4-inch version. And this nickel plating is just, it's beautiful. 29-2. In the 4-inch barrel. So that's kind of a little quick overview on the 29, Model 29. And feel free to let me know if you have any questions or comments, and thanks for watching.